But the problem is a lot of us aren't willing to pay for the full price of success. We're trying to undercut the cost of success, and we don't want to pay what it's worth. And then the next step from there, I think there are several people out there who have put in the work and still are on the fence about their confidence, and that's where you got to overpay it. When you overpay for the cost of success, there will be zero doubt in your mind that you're deserving of it and that you should be confident when you step into the batter's box, or you step on the pitcher's mound, or you step in any arena in your life about what you're about to do. Welcome to Ballplayer's Evolution, guys. Episode 4 here. Let's keep it rolling. So today's about confidence, and we're going to talk about the real root of confidence and where it really grows. And so if we get right into it, for me, the way that I figured this out the easiest, and I thought about it a bunch of different ways, was I kind of had to start at the end and work backwards. And so I'm going to read to you. I was thinking about this a lot the other day, and I kind of jotted down some notes on my phone. I just want to share my thoughts, and then I'll kind of pause from it and dive into it with some more detail as we go along. But again, let's get right into it. Confidence. Where does it grow? What's the root of it? And how do we get more of it? For me, I can think of two things that come to mind right away. My first thought was I had a game in pro ball where I had 2 home runs in one game. And in that game, I actually, believe it or not, I stepped up to the plate for my third at bat and had just like the deepest feeling that I was going to hit a third home run. And I was shocked when I didn't. Instead, I still hit like a laser line drive up the middle for a single or a double. Ended up with 3 or 4 hits that game. But my first 2 at bats that game were home runs, and that was like the ultimate high of confidence. And I'll dive more into that later. The second time for me would have been my senior season, the second half of my season in particular. And the reason my second half, not because I actually did better my second half, I had a pretty steady run of good games for the whole 20 games in a high school season. But going into that season, I was definitely nervous. I had pro scouts at pretty much all of my games. And even before every game, the nerves started there because I would have to take batting practice in front of a pro scout who flew in or drove in to see me. And so we do a 30, 40-minute session of hitting in front of the scouts where it was just one-on-one, them watching me hit. And so that was a little bit nerve-wracking, naturally, just having to deal with that in the beginning. And then performing the game after the fact, after doing that. But what I'm getting at is the first couple games of my season, I was nervous, but I started to perform, and I started to realize that I can do this. Not only can I do this, I'm doing what I set out to do. So I started succeeding right away, and I was batting over 500. And once I got a taste of that, the rest was history for me. Like the second half of my career, the second half of my season, my senior year, was almost a breeze. I still put the same work in and everything, but as far as the confidence that I had going into each hitting session, pre-game, in each game as well, I had that confidence already because I was proving to myself in the games beforehand that I could do it. And then if I could just touch a little bit more on that 2 home run game of what I'm talking about, because again, like I really think that there's a small glimpses in everyone's career where you really like remember, yeah, I was the most confident then, right? Of the thousands of games that I played, I'm picking out 2 instances, and so this is not something I experienced my whole career, and I don't think anybody does either. For as many successes as I have here, which is essentially I'm talking about just 2 stories of confidence, I have 25, 50 stories of failure. But back to this, that 2 home run game, I'm just taking you through my mind. And, if you've been in a similar situation, it can relate to you. My first at bat, it was just like any other bat. I did not go up into that first at bat feeling any more or less confident. But I caught a fastball in front, hit one over the fence, and for some reason after that at bat, something just clicked more than it had ever clicked, where I realized, man, I am very capable of this. And it's hard to do, but it's wasn't as hard to do as I thought at that time. Those are my feelings. And so going up to that second at bat, it was like, just repeat. Like, why couldn't I just repeat this before if this is all I needed to do? And it's easier said than done, no doubt about it. That's why we can't do this every single game or at bat. No, we're not hitting a home run every time. But when I really kind of thought about it at a deeper level, all of the hard work that I had done had already been done. All the reps I had done in the cage in the off season, that stuff's already been done. And so once you go through all of that, then you can really get a clear understanding of the one task you need to do. And for this one example, for me, it was catch a fastball out in front and be on time with it. And if I do that, I have a good chance to drive the ball out to the outfield or over the fence. So look, in a nutshell, there's 3 major steps. And again, for me, I had to go through this backwards to really figure it out. But if we went with step 3, like that's the confidence itself. Step 2 is being able to do it in a game and tasting success in the game. And step 1 is putting the work in nobody else is doing. And then realizing you're absolutely capable of this after proving that you've done it when it counts. So let's talk more about step 1, which is the root here. The root of confidence is the extra reps. It's the grinding, the dedication that not only you're doing, but that nobody else is doing. And that is the most important part in my mind. Just thinking about how it impacted me personally. Right? There was things that I did that I know others did, which was a lot of work, right? The team practice, the lessons, the training, the whole thing. But there absolutely was things that I was doing that I knew nobody else was doing, right? I knew when other kids were out there partying, I was giving more reps or working out in my basement. I knew that there was a visualization process I did that very few others were doing, right? I knew that the things I was doing in my bedroom alone with just me and my bat and just rehearsing movements or looking in the mirror when I was going through mechanics or my stance or whatever. Like the little details of just fully committing to doing absolutely everything I could do, everything I could feel, everything I could think about or visualize that I knew nobody else was doing. That for me was the number one confidence booster of anything else. And so, just to keep elaborating on this, it's the dedication, and it's when you're actually doing this in your life and understanding how this builds confidence, how it actually can carry over to other things as well outside of baseball. That just took it to a whole another level for me. It is absolutely deserving, right? You can feel that. You can feel that you have more than earned it. And so I'll give you just thoughts that I had in my head about this, just to give you kind of like my own story of it. If the price for success was $100, you paid $120 for it. You overpaid it. And when you overpay for something, you don't have to count it twice. You don't have to count it twice when you overpay for something. You don't have to double check it because you know it's enough. Right? You know it's enough. So how does this relate to your game and your confidence? You don't have to double check your confidence because you paid more than enough for it through the work that you put in. And so you need to overpay for the cost of success. All right, I'm going to say that again. Overpay for the cost of success in sports and also your life, right? In your career after sports, because that's going to be something that shows up for all of us one day. And then we have to figure out how to excel in that space too. And again, if you're going to learn anything through the podcast, I'm hoping that that's one thing you'll learn. You'll learn how this is not just for ball players right now at whatever age you're at. This is stuff that you can take with you the rest of your life till you're done. But the problem is a lot of us aren't willing to pay for the full price of success. We're trying to undercut the cost of success, and we don't want to pay what it's worth. Guys, the only time that's going to work is if you're shopping for real estate. And I'm here to tell you, you not only need to pay what it's worth, you need to overpay it. Right? You need to overpay it with the work that you're putting in. That's how you overpay it. You got to insure it. That is what will give you real confidence. And again, it relates to the stuff you're doing that nobody else is doing. Got to overpay for success. You got to overpay for this confidence. And I promise when you start to do that, confidence will show up. It has to. And to me, in my mind, the math adds up there. Like that just makes a lot of common sense. And so you hear all the time from your coaches to be confident, but we don't know where to grab from to be confident sometimes. Most times. Right? We don't know where to. You're not going to be confident by itself, right? There needs to be some substance there. And that is in my mind, again, the main missing link to this real root of confidence, right? Where is the substance behind it? Where is it coming from? Why should I be confident, right? Have I put in the work and do I deserve it? And then the next step from there, I think there are several people out there who have put in the work and still are on the fence about their confidence. And that's where you got to overpay it. When you overpay for the cost of success, there will be zero doubt in your mind that you're deserving of it and that you should be confident when you step into the batter's box, or you step on the pitcher's mound, or you step in any arena in your life about what you're about to do and what you're trying to achieve. And so again, I want to jot down some really key notes I had on that. And really, if you could think about that and how it relates to your life, that to me is all you'll need right now to get true confidence. And there's some other tips and tricks as well to gain confidence from the mental aspect, but I think the root of it starts here.